received, and he
No,
wants to get it done right.
it's his character. He gets to do that, but I'm telling you, the consequence is there's no Spawn.
All right, so let's cover this. This and one more topic, DL, and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
Anthony left.
Uh-oh.
So Dune Part 2, first reactions praise the film as a jaw-dropping masterpiece. Is anyone surprised? I'm surprised about how much more hype Dune 2 is getting than Dune 1. It's like
Why are you surprised?
Why? It was a good movie.
No, it was a good movie.
A lot of people don't like
but
it.
the casting of all these young actors is really breathing a lot of energy into this franchise. I'm sorry. And there was another rumored actor was on. There is some credibility to them being in this film. Well, thanks for ruining it, Anthony. Thank you. Yes, there's credibility to that.
She's already confirmed. She's already at the premiere.
Well, no, people don't know that they weren't at the premiere. They don't know. Yeah,
every actor from the movie was in the premiere, and she's like, now she's confirmed.
But I'm talking about this. This has the potential to double the box office take as the first one.
No, the first one.
That's very rare for a sequel.
It was day and date
I
on
know,
Max.
pandemic. I know, day and date. I know, but I'm saying it's double. I mean, it has the possibility to double the impact of the first one. That is really significant.
It should.
For a sequel.
That's a no-brainer, Max.
Yeah,
it's not. No, it's not. Not a lot of sequels get that much more. No.
But with how critically acclaimed
the first one
was, and also with the fact that it was day and day, it still had a lot of buzz. So yeah, we are.
I was always going to be hyped for this movie, but not to this. I can't wait to see this movie. All right, so Dune Part 2 made its world premiere in London today, and the first reactions to the highly anticipated sequel on social media are extremely positive. Are they going to show some? Okay. This is Stephen Weintraub. Let me make this bigger here.
Frosty.
It won't be bigger. Okay. In a shock to no one, I absolutely love Dune 2. Incredible filmmaking, brilliant score, entire cast was excellent. My only complaint is I wish it was longer. Not joking. Well, they are going to make I thought it was always going to be a two-parter, but it seems like they're doing a third.
Well, there's
we're doing the Mossad. Yeah, they're doing the third one.
Yeah, but I mean, when they originally started this series, I think it was going to be a 2, right?
At first,
yes, but I think they liked this one so much when they saw it done, they flipped.
Deneen said he always wanted to do a third one if these first two.
Well, it's based on the reception of the sequel.
I think he said he's only going to do 3. He's going to pass.
He's going to do 3, and then if WB wants to do
this, we may be looking at one of the most important trilogies in movie history again. If depending on depending on how good the sequel is, who here thinks that this is going to be better than the first one? I like the first one, but
it looks better than the first one.
Well, it's supposed to be better. It's an all-out war.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People that had issues with the pacing and it'd be a little bit drown out. People saying it was maybe a little bit boring.
It was a lot of world building and setup, and
now there's payoff.
And so, people like Crazy Joe, who said it was boring.
I think this is going to get them back on board. And Brian was not. He's like, okay, he wasn't feeling the first one, which is fair. A lot of people didn't feel the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a lot of setup. I feel like it's all going to pay off. Not joking around. The movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes. I would have been happy to watch another hour. Dune 2 is an epic, masterful cinematic experience. It's visceral, palpable, and must be seen on the biggest screen possible. Watched it a few days ago, and I'm still riding the high of the experience. The rich mythology, acting, and story are all elevated by the visuals and sound design. Dare I say it's a perfect film? Better than the first one. All the character build-up, storyline, and world building massively pays off in the third act. A third act that left me speechless and in awe. Yeah, I loved it. Jermaine Lussier.
Denny Villeneuve here, obviously.
What's that, Voltaire?
I said no review embargoes here. That's a good sign.
Yeah. Jermaine Lussier, Danny Villeneuve sticks to the landing with Dune Part 2, a fascinating, terrifying character study told on a glorious, grand sci-fi scale. Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya are incredible in it. The set piece are
the next power couple.
The set pieces, I already think they are. Sorry, Tom Holland.
They're
jaw-dropping, and supporting cast elevates all the rest. It's great. Dune Part 2 is masterful filmmaking on an epic scale. Denis Villeneuve marries gripping character development to vast, sweeping cinematic visuals, and the cast evolves in the roles. I slightly prefer the simpler Dune to this complex chapter, but still towering achievement. That's the only one that I've seen's a little critical. Dune Part 2 is spectacular. I don't know if we need to go through all these. It looks great. It looks great.
Well, not for nothing though. Usually the initial.
I mean,
the
I'm not
initial-
surprised that
no.
is that
They
is getting
always
good reviews.
throw
It's
everything
Dennis.
out, out there that is positive, and we have to see when the reviews come out.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
but I mean, yes, when a movie comes out, there's a lot of this going on. But who here
'Cause
thinks
these are
this is a
all,
different vibe?
as
This is a
people, these are all
Joe,
studio
to be-
skills that sort of movies. Be honest.
Joe, you pay for Adam
You're
Webb.
wrong.
So,
You're not wrong.
You know, I'm
I think
could have
we're
been me.
I think we are possibly looking at another like huge franchise that could compete with others, like other sci-fi franchises like Star
Yeah.
Wars, and also be an alternative to Star Wars.
Yeah, Star
Mhm.
Wars was potentially inspired by Dune, and now Kathy Kennedy failed, sleeping on Star Wars theatrical. Dune's taken over.
Nice. She should have hired Denis Villeneuve.
No,
I had to bring that in there somehow.
Dennis,
No,
I
I'm not
love
saying a
Dennis,
word,
but
dude,
he's very
because
when it
the
comes
next
to
Star
Disney.
Wars movie is going to make $1 billion.
I doubt
That's a
it.
good prediction.
I doubt it. You
Have
don't
you
have.
seen
You don't have
Listen, the one thing you don't
you don't
understand
have the
about-
OG
Wait, you think the
characters.
Mandalorians? You think the Mandalorian and Grogu's gonna make $1 billion?
Yes.
Yeah. That will.
Maybe
Listen,
that over. I
regardless
think
of
that has a stronger
how much
opportunity for
hate-
Ray.
Star Wars fans love to hate Star Wars. They hate Star Wars more than anybody else, but they show up and watch everything. Doesn't matter.
That's factual. That is factual. They do.
I
Isn't
also
that-
think you could almost crap out a Star Wars movie when there's been a 5-year gap, and my 7-year-old niece could direct a movie.
Well, there was a
Well,
20-year gap between the prequels and the original and the prequels, right?
Yes.
Voltaire,
Yes.
I want to ask you.
Or longer.
Isn't it interesting now that a movie series like Star Wars, a lot was inspired by Dune, Seven Samurai, things like that.
Mhm.
That this now may be the main sci-fi franchise out there, depending on how the reception of this movie is. Isn't it interesting?
So for a new generation, yes, it is interesting. For a new generation, okay, forget about the people like us who love the old Star Wars, and they've only really been exposed to the new awful Star Wars. Yeah, they'll adopt Dune.
Can you imagine if you had this cast in Star Wars? They had the
It's
opportunity to
wonderful.
get this list talent.
That would be nuts. That would
It's a sexy cast, sexy director. Like it's got all the makings of.
They had the opportunity to do this. Kathy could have made this happen.
No, she
What?
wants to star me no big.
They had
What?
no, seriously, Bruce. They
What,
had the
to make Dune?
opportunity. No, to get young, talented people, great director. Why not go for the top directors for Star Wars
Oh, if you know Dennis, he
instead
doesn't
of being
like.
in the
He
situation we're at?
doesn't.
Instead of being in the
If
situation,
They
you
were
watch- if
top
you watch
directors at the
Dennis-
time, weren't they?
if you
not
watch-
like Denis
if you-
Villeneuve.
Oh, stop.
If you watch Dennis, he does not like being restrained by studio. He likes going all out. with
But
originals
Well,
or
Kathy should
anything.
have hired somebody and let him do what he wants.
No, bro, I'm good, bro. I do not. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Kathy is more interested in making no movies, Max. Okay.
Joe, you like Adam
interesting.
Webb.
Good
God,
movies,
You guys,
okay.
Oh,
you
what
guys
good
totally,
movies! What
You
good
guys
movies!
totally forget that George Lucas let the IP sit there for decades before they
No,
even
he
thought
was-
about doing sequels. Stop with this. Oh, it's been so long, 5 years.
He was always working on a
Wah,
potential
wah.
sequel. He was always working on a
Oh my
potential sequel.
God!
He was always working on other projects. He just couldn't get it all done.
But let's just get this out the way. This will be another win under the cap of WBD, Wonka, Aquaman, and now this.
Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, man.
I love that, by the way, Brewster. That's true.
Yeah.
W-
So, yeah.
WB needs some W's.
I mean,
WB
yeah,
needs some W's.
I mean, good for them actually. You just don't spend that much money.
I never thought Dune would get into the mainstream like it seems like it's getting now. The Dune Part 2 is getting more mainstream than Dune Part 1.
Yeah, because I can take the first movie.
I like the first
The
movie a
original.
lot,
Well, I can take it.
but I didn't see it having the mainstream
Which
appeal.
cut? Which
That's
cut? There's too many cuts.
All right, before
Maybe
we
tough.
move on, do you feel that the Dune Part 2 is getting a more mainstream appeal than Dune Part 1? I absolutely do. I
I
think it's
think
because the
Dune 1
casting.
had a mainstream appeal. That's why it's got a sequel, and
Mm,
that's why this is popular because people
I don't.
actually
I see.
loved
I
it
feel
on
like.
Max.
I mean, yeah, I'm leveling. I'm trying to put a
Your spin on it,
examine the
I mean,
examine
sorry,
the hype.
way
I'm
more
trying.
points.
It's subjective. I just subjectively
huh?
feel there's more hype, more mass appeal to this one based on the younger
I
cast.
think. Are you talking basing just on anticipation? Because
I see even the young cast going or promoting this everywhere. They're having a good time. It makes everyone. It makes a lot
You
of people
know,
want to go support this movie. I think it's a factor.
I'm saying also it doesn't have a good long range box office. 65 million. That's not a lot for a big
That's
budget
opening. I bet
movie.
you. I'm telling you
wait,
right here, the
that's his
second
numbers right
weekend
now.
drop off is going to be
Yes,
minimal, Bruce.
Only
I
65
prediction.
million.
yes.
Yes,
Hmm.
but the second weekend drop off is going to be minimal. I'm telling you, especially in IMAX, unless there's
Oh
another
yeah,
Yeah,
IMAX.
well
this
yeah.
could be one of the greatest movies ever made. If people don't show up for it, it's gonna flop.
That's true. I don't think they're not going to show up for
Great
this,
movies
especially
flop
in
all the time,
IMAX.
and Fast
What's
and the
the next
Furious do
movie?
great numbers all the time.
What's the next
And
movie
then those are
after this?
trash.
That's like how Elaine said Sponge-worthy. What's the next one that's IMAX worthy after Dune 2 this
I
year?
don't know. I can't.
Deadpool.
But that's not till like July or something.
Oh, that's
You could
July.
sh-
Guess.
Deadpool.
I don't think
Oh,
this is going to
Planet of the
have.
Apes.
Oh, Planet of the
Planet of
Apes.
the
I'm
Apes.
sorry,
I
Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes.
I
Yeah.
don't think that Dune 2 is going to have more over 50% drop for
Oh,
the second weekend.
Oh,
Ghostbusters. Yeah,
Ghostbusters.
that
Yeah,
was yeah.
yeah.
We'll
So,
wait and
Bruce,
see.
you
Garfield.
don't think
No,
there's
no,
more
no.
hype for this one than there was the first one?
I
Oh,
think
I
so.
see it. I
I
see
think
it.
I do too, but Bruce says he doesn't.
I don't think I think the hype is with hardcore fans.
Mm.
I don't
Interesting.
know if the general audience will
I
run
think
to the theater
every
to see
single
it.
one of these young actors, there's Timothy Chalamet stands, there's Florence Pugh, there's Zendaya fans, there's
Austin Butler.
Austin
To be
Butler fans.
fair,
There's also
no one shows up to
what's her
Pew's
Anya
films.
Taylor-Joy. They act, they're
Dang.
bringing all these fandoms
They
together in
don't.
one epic sci-fi movie that's that's the younger generation of actors. They're all in here. Like I don't know how younger generations are not going to support this movie, honestly, with the
Well,
amount of talent in here.
well,
What was
how
that
many?
movie? The name of
How
the
much?
movie where? Go ahead. Sorry, DL. Go ahead.
I'm about to
Yes,
say,
exactly.
like,
Robotic trade. That's domestic.
even though like all these younger actors are in this movie, like the overall, does this appeal to my generation or younger as far as like this type of science fiction movie? Because like the first, even with the first one, like that's not really a movie for younger people. This is like a more thought provoking, more cerebral, slower paced science fiction movie. It's not a crowd
I
pleasing
agree with that.
like spectacle. I mean, it has spectacle in it, but it's not focused on that. So I don't know. I mean, this one looks like it has more action in it, so it probably will be a little bit more crowd pleasing. But Dune is not trying to be. That's why I say this is going to be an alternative to Star Wars, because it's not trying to be Star Wars. It's
No,
trying
it's something. It's not Star Wars, but I really feel it's different this time. I really do.
Listen, I just think I love Dune. I love part one. I think the hype doing part one was, I mean, you could see at home, you could see in their day. You didn't have to go to theaters. I didn't pay to theaters. I saw it on my 75-inch TV, Sony TV. Um, the color. So it was great to see in it. The second one, I think there's a lot of hype. I think people is gonna see it. This younger generation love all those actors, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Anna Taylor-Joy, anybody, Florence Pugh as well. Um, but who else in there? Humbert, what George
Zendaya, Austin Butler, Florence
Austin Butler.
Pugh.
Yeah, every those young people that everybody loves, they're gonna see that. As well as Josh Brolin as well, so he's back for this one. So
We have one final
yeah.
topic before DL heads out because I know it's getting later, and we got a super chat here Tony Movie, Chappie, District 9, Deal Balcom fan, $1.99. Thoughts on the Garbage Pail Kids?
One of the worst
Cars?
films. One of the worst films in the history of cinema.
I've
Oh,
never
I
seen
ne-
that film.
Correct.
I never seen that. I
I've
can't
never
talk
seen
about
that film,
It,
Tony
it,
Movie.
it belongs
Chappie.
in the trash. It should never be talked about again.
The
put
cards were
away.
fun.
Is
The cards
it
were
worse?
great.
Is it worse than Justice League?
Yes.
Oh Lord, God,
I've
rest
The
never
comic book
seen
series
the
was
Garbage Pail
horrible.
movies.
Ugh.
So I like Garbage Pail